Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to a new edition of our show titled Speak of Africa. Brothers and sisters, we're very, very happy to see you again today and chat with you. We thank you for the support you've been giving us on this show. Our numbers are going up and we realize that more and more people are watching us. So we just get information from you and we try to broadcast this information. From the very beginning, we had told you we are your voice. You send us information, then we amplify this voice so that people can hear you far and wide. Before, people were not really hearing you. Today, we'll make it possible so that people can hear you. On YouTube, the biggest network in the world, will get your message across. Even YouTube today is even promoting our messages because they make you know and other people know about the message we have for you. Today we have another great show. In fact, this week really marks Labor Week. Yesterday was Labor Day, and America always likes to respect the worker. So the day of yesterday was really targeted towards the person who does the job for us, the worker, recognition of the worker for what they do to make the economy go live, okay? Similarly, this is also school resumption, and we want to talk a lot about school resumption, especially when we get to Cameroon. But we're going to start our show of today by going straight to South Africa. We've covered South Africa a whole lot on our show, and we've really praised the country for most of the things that they've done well. The transition from white rule to black rule was not really easy. There have been a lot of growing pains. In fact, even when there was a scandal involving their late president, we really covered it. Then we even featured them once on our list of the best African countries, and they won the award. So they were really doing a lot of things well. But something has happened which we've been drawing attention to on many occasions. South Africa is becoming a very xenophobic country. And they are not welcoming even their own black brothers and sisters. And that's why we have a problem. We've been looking at Africa as a united nation, the dream of building one country, one people. Interestingly, those who are familiar with the history of South Africa should know that a lot of Africans contributed to the decolonization of South Africa. Nigeria, for example, is one country that did a whole lot. In fact, as the big daddy of Africa, Nigeria did a whole lot. I will never forget the government of Murtala Mohammed, even when he made a lot of speeches, but he also made contributions in kind. Nigeria helped South Africa with money so that South Africa can become free. When we look at the way South Africans are targeting Nigerians, we think it is not right. Whenever something is going wrong, we need to say the truth and call it to the public. It's not right. We've noticed a few months ago that so many foreigners, especially Africans, have been leaving South Africa. They had gone there to contribute, to make a living. When they got there, they tried to study the environment. They started businesses. Now the South Africans are jealous of them. Why should you be jealous of people who are contributing to your economy? This is insane. This is idiotic. And from the way we see things, it looks like the forces of the law are not able to put these people in check. By allowing them to rummage and destroy the goods and properties of foreigners, it is wrong. Foreigners are helping you build your country. So why target them and make them a scapegoat? This is a Hitler approach of thinking. Foreigners are merchants, they are entrepreneurs. These are the people who are trying to transform the country. You could even emulate from them how to become a business person. But you don't have to go and be destroying their properties, targeting them, harming them. This has been going on for long, and I think Nigeria has said they've had enough, and they are reciprocating by asking all South Africans to leave their own country too. In fact, President Buhari of Nigeria had even met with South Africa's president, Cyril Ramaphosa. But it looks like the South African authorities were not really willing to really resolve this issue. They've just allowed it to fester okay? It's just like a wound. You don't treat it, it festers and festers. So this is not really right. And we think on this score, Nigeria is right. And we condemn the South African government for not really doing much to protect the life and property of foreigners in his country, okay? So next, we're going to leave South Africa and move to Botswana. We've covered Botswana many times on our show, and we think they've always had a model democracy in Africa. We're always impressed because Botswana always has a peaceful transition of power, okay? And we'll feature them on our show. They've even won one of our African Nation Awards because we really like much of what is happening in the country. It's true, the country is not perfect. There are no roses without thorns. That's what I learned in literature. But we like to emphasize the positive. They have a democratic system that works. Right now, on October 23rd, they're going to be holding local and national elections. These elections are going to result in the choice of a new president. Usually, the political party that wins more seats in parliament gets to choose who becomes the new president. And so we think that's really good. From Botswana, we're going to move to Rwanda. We've covered Rwanda many times on our show, and Rwanda has been a model of development in Africa. In 1994, as you all know, Rwanda went through a genocide. But they've risen up the ashes of the genocide to really build their country, thanks to good governance. And this good governance has been provided by Mr. Paul Kagame. I know some of you complain that he's been in power for too long, but this is a very able leader. He's young and development-oriented. He's been doing things to really change his country for the better. This week, we got news that they are moving from petrol-powered to electric-powered motorbikes. So this is commendable. Botswana, just like Rwanda, is moving towards the path of democracy. So we thank Rwanda because they have been able to build their country and they are doing new things every day. You see Mr. Paul Kagame doing one new thing after another, one new thing after another. Why can other African head of states not emulate this guy? Don't just emulate him by staying in power for long, but do the good things that he's doing to move his country forward. Because that's what we expect of good leadership, okay? Good leadership, the master key to development is good leadership. So we want to have leaders in Africa who are just like Mr. Paul Kagame, who can really focus on developing the country. We've made so many videos on Rwanda. So if you go into our video library, just type the word Rwanda, you're going to see a lot of the stuff that we've done on Rwanda because the country is on the move. Everybody is talking about Rwanda, but this is a small country with really no resources. They've been able to focus on self-reliance, okay? They've been focusing on self-reliance, and this is what we're asking other Africans to do. Leadership should focus on self-reliance. When they focus on self-reliance, it will make it easy for them to do more things to help their citizens.
Life insurance money secrets of millionaires and billionaires exposed. Discover how America's rich and famous exploit these arcane tools to build fabulous wealth. Why should these big white guys have all the fun? Let Prince Ojong, the celebrity author of The Miraculous Millionaire, show you the little understood life insurance way to riches. Are you still doubting the good things that life insurance can do for you? Trust strategies, estate planning, 401k rollover, annuity contract, cash value, education funding, executive benefits, income protection, life protection, living benefits, mortgage protection, tax-free retirement? Think and grow rich with life insurance. Your amazing journey to wealth begins by calling Prince Ojong at 240-350-1131.
Okay, so now we're going to leave Rwanda and move further up. We're going to move now to Congo DRC. Last week, we shared with you information that President Felix Tshisekedi finally, after over 7 months in power, was able to form his cabinet, which consists of over 67 members in the government. It was really a government of compromise, okay? It's really a government of compromise. It's really a marriage of convenience. It's a marriage of convenience between former President Joseph Kabila and President Felix Tshisekedi. So it looks like they struck a deal to try to get things moving. But already, the Congolese people who wanted change, are they going to get the change that they seek? Those are some of the questions that we want you to start thinking about. Because when we look at what is happening in Congo, it's like a dilemma. On one hand, the people want change. On the other hand, Mr. Joseph Kabila wants the status quo to be maintained. So what's going to happen? So we're really watching. So it will really take a lot of skills for Mr. Felix Tshisekedi to really play around, to really to improve their lives. They want their lives to be improved economically, politically, and socially. Already, on the social front, we've really been impressed with some of the work Mr. Felix Tshisekedi has been doing on Ebola disease. He's been doing a whole lot. He took charge of this himself, and things are really going well. But fundamentally, the problem the Congo DRC faces is poverty and insecurity. He's trying a whole lot on the insecurity phase, but the poverty angle is what we think he needs to tackle next. The people need to have good jobs. So he needs to focus on creating more jobs for the people. Because if he can do this, then peace can really return to this country. We are not really worried. The presence of Mr. Kabila is not really bothering us because we know the way politics works. Sooner or later, it's going to fade into the sunset. But he may be around for now. His party is dominant in the country. But it's because he's been president for a long time, so he still wields a whole lot of power behind the scenes. So this is going to fade pretty soon. Next, we're going to move now to Cameroon.
Hey, yo, Shay, I thought you was going to take me to this place so I could get my taxes done. You know I'm trying to buy a new house. What's up?
Let's get it on. If you searching for a house, call up my man Prince Ojong, the best in real estate. Take it from your guy Shake. When I say his services are the best in the states where it's born, he even take care of your tax forms, back refunds. So come get your business done. Consultations, financial organization, fast processing, no waiting. This man is amazing. The Prince.
Act now and call Prince Ojong at 240-350-1131. That's 240-350-1131.
And this is going to be our final story of the week. We've been covering Cameroon a whole lot on our show because not only because we come from Cameroon, but it's because things are not really going on well. Things are not really going on well in Cameroon. It looks like there's a lot of confusion. Because when we look at this week, what is happening? Last week, we talked a whole lot about a lockdown. The people of Ambazonia decided to lock down their country because they did not want La République to come in and function. So it's like they just closed the whole place down, they shut everything down, and they were just anticipating that La République is trying to force school resumption. So the main issue of the week in Cameroon is school resumption. When you look at all the newspapers, you look at the TV stations, much of what everybody is talking about is school resumption. In fact, yesterday, schools actually resumed. We watched a lot of the videos, so we can really share a lot of this information with you. In the Francophone area of the country, yeah, schools resume normally because the areas are relatively peaceful. But there was a lot of rain. There was rain everywhere. You could see most of the students walking in rainwater to go to school. So it was really disappointing. Then you could see some of the motorbikes trying to ferry some of them to school. So it was so much chaos. There was so much chaos. But what about the Anglophone area of the country? In that area, we can tell you sincerely that school resumption was a fiasco. The restoration forces of Ambazonia made it impossible for schools to resume in that region. In fact, from Biya to Bamenda, you could see videos, which we're going to share with you, which show that nothing was happening. We could even show you pictures also, because we want you to know that what we're telling you is the truth. From Kumba to Kumbo, there was no action. Everything was just locked down. So it looks like most of the people are really afraid of the restoration fighters who are giving their order that they don't want schools to resume because it's not really necessary for schools to resume in a war zone. So most of the people were really afraid to go to school. In fact, in some areas like Nkambe, Nkambe is really one of those areas in the northwest where La République has really stationed a whole lot of soldiers. As a result, schools were able to resume in Nkambe. Probably the school resumption success story is in Nkambe because a lot of B soldiers are stationed around there. You see them walking around with the students. How long are they going to do this? It's not going to be for long. So the danger is the students who make a mistake and try to go to school will be attacked by the restoration forces for not obeying their orders. Then you could see even the district officers of some of those provinces traveling around to make sure that schools resume.
Hey, 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 this land of glory, to sing.
Hey, 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 this land of glory, we the Amazonia, special loyalty. Praise the Son of Savior, who granted us a freedom, and led us to the hero, who brought us down in Tabla. Glory to you, Christ, and let us fall. There is a nation for him and army. Glory, glory, glory to the Father, who made the nation and forevermore. Amazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in blessing in our need, and your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High will be the watchman of this nation. Amazonia, land of freedom, you shall live in blessing in our need, and your children shall be like the stars above. The Most High will be the watchman of this nation.
Yes, Ambazonia Defense Force, Intervention Rapid, Central Town, Batibo, Commander Tiger.
We'll ask ourselves, why are these people not sensible enough to tell their president, Mr. Paul Biya, that it is not prudent for schools to resume amid warfare? When a war is going on, how can students study? When guns are shot, boom, 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 left and right, how can students study in such a chaotic environment? It is just because the 74th session of the UN is coming up on the 24th of September. So all what is happening in Cameroon is a form of window dressing. Mr. Paul Biya is just like the Maradona of African politics. He wants to dribble the international community into thinking that things are normal in Cameroon. If things are normal, then you don't need to worry about dialoguing with Anglophones. You can just go about your business and run the country as a dictator until you die. By contrast, the Ambazonian fighters do not want to give him this photo up. They don't want him to use them as photo opportunities. So they have been challenging the school resumption. And when you look at a lot of the videos I will show you, even on Equinox TV, we watch a lot of news programs, especially the Pidgin News. It was so effective. You saw how the broadcaster was able to present the fiasco of the whole school resumption because nothing is really happening. Because even in Mutengene, we understand B soldiers packed some students in a truck to take them to school by force. Students don't have to be forced to go to school. They have to go to school out of their own free will. When you start forcing them to go to school, then it means there's something wrong. So does it mean that the Paul Biya regime is more interested in the welfare of these kids than their own parents? No. He just wants to use them as a pawn in his political game. He wants the international community, America especially, and the UN to know that things are normal in Cameroon. But there's no normalcy in Cameroon. Even the American ambassador has even drawn attention to the fact that there's a lot of chaos. When you go to Cameroon, there's a lot of confusion. You go north, you go south, you go east, you go west, there's confusion. Especially in those two territories you call northwest and southwest. There is complete disorder. The whole area is ungovernable. And do not just take what we're telling you. We don't just want to cite just the American ambassador. We want to show you a video where the former US ambassador, Herman Cohen, was interviewed Listen to him talk about the problem of Cameroon.
Well, the English-speaking part of Cameroon is in deep trouble because there's a great deal of discrimination against those people by the majority who are French-speaking. They're getting very little of the wealth, or very little of the business investment and that sort of thing, so they are very angry. Secondly, when they voted under the United Nations to join the French-speaking Cameroon, they came in as a federal independent state, and they had their own legislator and their own chief of state, and they only shared the currency and the foreign policy and the defense. In 1972, the federal government had a referendum to unite, and of course this was illegal because this minority never wanted to be united totally with the rest of Cameroon, so they were just smothered and taken into Cameroon. They're very angry about it.
This guy has been, Herman Cohen has been ambassador in at least 2 countries in Africa. Then he was also the US Secretary of State for Africa. So he knows Africa intimately. And he tells you the problems of Cameroon. Why are Cameroonians in the northwest and southwest protesting against the government? Why are they taking arms against the government? It's because they are tired. They are saying to themselves, if we must die, let us die. They have gotten to a stage where they are prepared to die. In fact, if you look at some of the videos we're going to share with you on this show today, you see a lot of the young men moving around with their AK-47s, which is their dream weapon now. Before, they were just struggling with them guns. But they've been able to build local bombs, which have been tearing apart government trucks of B. The soldiers are called B. You will see many pictures of B vehicles that have just been damaged by locally made bombs. Then the B guys also, a lot of them now, you see there are pictures that show that the army of Cameroon is bringing a lot more B soldiers to the northwest and southwest region, especially in the Kumba area. There's a picture, we saw so many of them sitting in a compound, but we just think this is just further for more killing, because the Amber boys, which I call the restoration forces, are going to start targeting them now, seriously. When we see this, we ask people to be very, very careful. You see, the boys now are not afraid of death. They've become men. So instead of calling them Amber boys, we prefer to call them restoration forces because they want to restore their independence. So this is what is really happening. Then when you look at, it looks like the Biya regime is going to even repeat the same mistake. This week, we're told that from the 16th to the 20th of September, the Cameroon Bar Association is going to go on strike. Lawyers are not going to go to work. They are not going to be wearing their outfit to go to court. So everything will be on lockdown too. So what is the Biya regime going to do this time? Is it going to met the same punishment they meted out to Anglophones when the lawyers were protesting? So now, why are these members of the Cameroon Bar Association striking against the government? They think that the Cameroon government is not respecting its own laws. And so this is what they think is really a shame. When the government makes laws, the government must respect its own laws. If the government does not respect its own laws, why do they expect other people to respect these laws? That's fundamentally why these lawyers want to protest and strike against the government, because they think that the government does not respect the rules of magistrates. They do what they want to do. So there's just jungle justice, what we call kangaroo courts. So the lawyers want this to end. Then sometimes clients of theirs are tortured by the government, and they think this is wrong. Cameroon law, when you look at the Cameroon constitution, it reads just like a constitution in America, Britain, or France. But in practice, something else is happening. You have a form of what I call bureaucracy, where Mr. Biya and his tribal people dominate and the army is behind them. The army doesn't think. The army should really consist of patriots, but most of the people in this army are just zombies, what Fela Ransom Kuti calls zombies. They just do what he wants and they don't pay attention to the rule of law. At the same time too, we want to take a moment to wish Sisiku Ayoktabe happy birthday. September 2nd is his birthday, and we want to wish him happy birthday. And we also want to express our gratitude And our wishes also to all the political prisoners in Africa and in Cameroon, okay? The Pope is going to Africa and want to take this message of his. He wants people to really remember the poor and the forgotten. So we're telling the people who are in jails that the world has not forgotten you. We pray for you every day. And you can see I have my rosary, just to let you know that we're praying for you every day. You are not forgotten. So take heart, we are with you. The Lord is with you. So you've not been abandoned. Don't feel for any moment that you are alone. The Pope is going to be traveling to Africa, to Mozambique. We've talked about Mozambique many times on this show. The Pope is also going to be traveling to Mauritius. The Pope is also going to be traveling to Madagascar. In fact, he will spend time in Antananarivo, which is the capital of Madagascar. But Mauritius is the final stop of the Pope's trip. So with this, we want to tell our people that believe. When you believe, God comes in. We have a whole lot of problems in Africa, and we think that with the presence of God, we will be able to resolve some of these problems. So we want us to pray. Let's take action, but at the same time, let's keep praying. Because if we don't pray, we just become like Satan. So we want to act, but we want God to be with us. You don't do anything. You have to ask first for God's will to be done, okay? So if we can do this, I think we'll be on the right track and we'll be able to conquer the evil forces that are keeping Africa in check, okay? We want to conquer Satan so that Africa should be free. Africa should really enjoy what God had in store for this continent. So we've come to the end of our show. As we told you, we always want to make our shows to be brief. But at the same time, we want you to be following us every day on Facebook. What we do on Facebook, we collect a lot of news from different sources. Then we comment on it daily. So don't only wait until 1 week to get this show. In addition to subscribing on this show and sharing it with your friends, tell them that they need to come to Facebook. My name is Prince Ojong. You click my name, then you can see my profile. I share news all the time. I have more than 5,000 friends, so you cannot become my friend anymore. But what I want you to do is to be following us. When you follow us, you'll be able to receive all the latest news about what is breaking out. And what we do most of the time is we comment on the news that is happening. We shed light. Because what we're really trying to do is to raise your level of perception. We want you to really understand what is happening in the world. You are not just a zombie. You are somebody who thinks. So we want you to use your God-given talent to think about what is happening in the world. Okay? Don't just live a humdrum life. Make meaning out of your life. Because that's just what life is about. Life is a mission. Okay? Define your mission. God brought you here on earth for a purpose. And we want you to achieve this purpose. Okay? And with this, we're going to end this show. But not before asking you to subscribe to this show. Subscribe. Share the show with your friends. If you do this, we're going to have a lot more people, and the show will be better, and we're going to have a lot more in store for you. Goodbye.
Hey, yo, Shape, I thought you was gonna take me to this place so I could get my taxes done. You know I'm trying to buy a new house. What's up?
Let's get it on. If you're searching for a house, call up my man Prince Ojong, the best in real estate. Take it from your guy Shape. When I say his services are the best in the states where he's born, he even take care of your tax forms, back refunds. So come, get your business done. Consultations, financial organization, fast processing, no waiting. This man is amazing. The Prince.
Act now and call Prince Ojong at 240-350-1131. That's 240-350-1131. Selling a service or a product? Need buyers? Use the African Nation TV as a channel to reach many viewers. Act now and call Prince Ojong at 240-350-1131. That's 240-350-1131. Act today.